Good evening, everyone. Time is now 7:02 on Wednesday, February 8th. This meeting is called to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
I'm here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Here.
Madam Clerk, adequate notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Sentinel, and Desi Talk on December 1st, 2022, and posted in Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
We have first the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve A and B?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? This motion passes. Next, council president remarks. Just a reminder that throughout the month of February, there will be the Black History Month. What's it called? Not presentation, but display. There we go. Thank you. At the Mini BVO Community Center. I do apologize at the last meeting that I did not have that on the slide that was presented. At this point, we'll go to the resolution of recognition. Clerk, if you could please read the resolution.
Whereas Eagle Scout is the highest achievement or rank attainable in the Boy Scout program of Boy Scouts of America. Whereas to qualify as an Eagle Scout, a Boy Scout must advance through 5 other ranks, earn at least 21 merit badges, and serve in troop leadership roles, as well as plan and execute an extensive service project. Whereas the requirements necessary to become an Eagle Scout take years to fulfill, and only 4% of all Boy Scouts ever achieve the rank. Whereas Shane Stryker has completed the requirements for and has been found deserving of the rank of Eagle Scout after having been examined by the Eagle Scout Board of Review. Shane has been involved in scouting since a young age of 6 and is a lifelong resident of Edison. Shane has volunteered on numerous community service projects along with helping other scouts with their Eagle Scout projects. Shane's project provided the Edison Animal Shelter with a walkway for potential adopters. The project took 57 volunteers, a total of 425.45 working hours, and cost about $2,975.70 that Shane raised. And whereas having their dedication space near the kennels added benches, providing for others' adoption functions. The improvements make the shelter more welcoming and will hopefully lead to more animals funding their forever homes. Now therefore be resolved by the Municipal Council of Edison Township to recognize the achievement of Shane Stryker in earning the rank of Eagle Scout, which along with his other civic activities demonstrates his dedication, commitment to the ideas of scouting and good citizenship.
At this time, I'd like to open up for public comment.
Council President?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Councilor.
Public comment.
Public comment first and then
Oh,
comments on.
sorry.
on our- Anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Yes, sir. No, this is on the resolution of recognition for the Eagle Scout. Any public comments? Hearing none, motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close the public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Proudly, yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. I apologize, first time doing a resolution of recognition. I should have done council comments prior to the roll call, so I do apologize. At this time, I'd like to offer my colleagues the opportunity to speak, please.
Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman Ship Freeman.
I would like to congratulate you and the amount of Eagle Scouts that we're starting to gain in Edison makes me feel really, really good. I like the fact that you young men go out and do things to improve our community. Y'all set forth as an example for the rest of us. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President Harris.
As an animal lover and as an admirer of people who are stepping up to, the young people stepping up to the plate for leadership, this is like the perfect combination. I thank you so much for your dedication and hard work and your leadership. And this is a great springboard for you to go on to greater things even. And so thank you so much.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patil.
I would like to congratulate Shane, your parents, your mentors. It's a great job done. We find very rare people who come here and get the recognition. You are one of them. So, and you are really setting up an example for your fellow Boy Scout members. Volunteering, saying it easy, doing it and achieving that rank is something, it's commendable. Again, congratulations and keep up doing the good job. Thank you, Council President.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patel.
Shane, I just want to congratulate you on this lifelong journey that you finally accomplished the goal that very few get to accomplish. I was a Boy Scout myself, and I never got to accomplish this goal, so I'm proud of you. But I do have very fond memories of being in Scout, and it prepares you very well for the future ahead. So I congratulate you again, and congratulations on your recognition.
Any other comments from my colleagues? Yes, Councilman Brusher.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate you. I've seen scouts come up here. I've seen the Scoutmasters come up here. I've seen them numerous times here, which is telling me that actually this is alive and well in our town. One of the things, and I've told the other scouts that came up, is over my course in life, I've run across people that as adults, you know, we meet and we talk about our lives and how we grew up and this and that. And I've met quite a few Eagle Scouts over my life that are holding positions in large, you know, Fortune 500 type companies. So it's a very successful path. I don't know if it's the dedication, the drive, what makes you get to be an Eagle Scout. But I'll tell you, over the course of your life, this is something that will be a good thing for you. So I'm very proud that we have another Eagle Scout that's coming from here. And thank you for the hard work you put in for the town.
Thank you, sir. Oh, and for myself, likewise, I would like to reciprocate all the comments that my colleagues have made. It's great to see that the youth of Edison Township has a passion to serve the community. So for that, I say thank you. And with that, I will pass it off to Councilman Toyle for the official recognition and reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Council President, if Councilman Patel can join me.
Absolutely.
Mr. Patel. First, congratulations. Thank you. On behalf of the council and the mayor's office, we truly are proud of the work you've done. Not only the work you've done, the time you took to pick a project. I know how difficult it was for the family not to help pick this project and how they sat back and waited for you to pick a project probably. Because it takes time to, what do you want to do and what do you want to do it? It took forever to get to it. But that's part of the process of leadership. And I think this is going to go a long way. I want to thank the parents for all the time you put in, sacrifice, the scout leaders and the time and all your sacrifice away from friends and family and the time you put in. Being an Eagle Scout, it shows leadership. We all know that here on the council as elected officials, we lead, you're leading, and people are watching. Young children are watching, your peers are watching, your younger brothers and sisters are watching, and they look up to you. And you can't forget that. Now, so I think she's laughing right now. Did she just laugh at you? Okay, but she is, and others do. They follow your lead in what you do next. And it's truly important that you remember this day and you continue to share this with others and hopefully convince them to do the same. Because this will be on your resume forever. Something I don't have and some other council members don't have. Councilman, did you say you had it? Okay, so we got part of the way there, but not the full way. But really, congratulations, and truly proud of the work you've done, and what a great project. So on behalf of the council, I first want to just hand you this right here, which is part of the resolution on behalf of the council, which I'm not going to read, which was just read before, but I want to pass it to Councilmember Patel to just say a few words.
Shane, again, congratulations, and congratulations to the family. This is a long journey, and it does take dedication, as I know, because I gave up in the middle. So I congratulate you on finishing this, and like Councilman Coyle said, this will look great on your resume when you go to anything, any future endeavors that you do. They will know that you are a leader, and that's a good thing, and that's a great thing going forward. So congrats again.
We do have a pinning for you that from the township and the mayor's office, and of many pins you have, Council Patel will do the honors. Okay, if we can get it out.
I think the family members can join this
If we can get a
moment.
picture, thank you. Anyone else want to join from the family for a picture?
How do you go farther out? Is that because the lens? Okay, ready? Tom McCain, you should also join.
Okay, I'm sorry, now you have to say a few words. We almost left a good part out.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the kind words, and I just wanted to help the animal shelter. I got my dog from them a few years ago. So yeah, just wanted to help them. What was your favorite part of being a Boy Scout? Being with my patrol and cooking food with them. It's just bonding in the woods. You know, that's my favorite part. Yeah.
And how was it working with Mr. McCann?
There's
Save your comments for later.
There's more ways than Cub Scout. He had no choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It was cool. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations. Take care. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council President.
Cut it off by mistake. I'm sorry.
Yes, Councilman Patel.
I would also like to thank Mr. Tom McCain, who is leading the entire group. Again, Mr. Tom McCain, you can keep bringing the Eagles here and we'll recognize them. But again, thank you for doing a great job. I'll bring them. Thank you.
Council President, I think Mr. McCann promised us 15 Eagle Scouts this year. I think we got to about 9 or 11. So 4 more to go.
I got another 2 coming up. So.
Okay.
Thank you. Any final comments in regards? Hearing none. Next, item 7, administrative agenda from the mayor, Sami Joshi, appointment to the library board. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call. Before, any council comments or questions?
Yes, Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President Harris.
So I spoke to Shreyans Patel yesterday and pretty much just got it under the wire. It was not good that we didn't get the resume. I know you got us the resume yesterday morning, but not having had that resume really put a crunch on trying to make this decision. At the library board meeting last night, I was questioned about it. And luckily, Schreins and I we hooked up yesterday in the evening, like maybe a couple of hours before the meeting. And I was glad I did, because I was impressed with what I heard from him. He's very eager to serve the community. He's got a big tech background, and that's what I was a little skeptical about in terms of where the library board interest was. But he's young, he's energetic, and very much wants to give back to the community. But, you know, if I had not spoken to him, I don't know that I might have had to have abstained or asked to table this. So I would ask that in the future for mayoral appointments like this, that we get the full information, we get the resume much further in advance than we did. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I commented, yes.
With that, can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
No, I'm abstaining from this because I'm speaking to the people from the community, and so I'm not really sure if I had enough time to speak with the community and with the young man. And I'm going by, from me being on the library board for 9 years, I'm talking about from experience. That's why I'm abstaining, because usually it's you get it more ahead of time.
Councilwoman Ship
and
Freeman,
everything.
I don't mean to be
Thank you.
rude, but during a motion for the vote, it's just the roll call.
I'm finished.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Next, we have motion carries. Item 8, approval of volunteer firefighters. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next up, public comments on the resolutions only. Yes, Mr. Diamond.
Bruce Diamond, 74 Calvert. I know you guys kind of got a quick explanation, but I didn't really understand it on 067. Why, I understand the bids came in higher than we expected, but why do you have to rebid it? Are you looking for a lower price? Or is there something else at issue?
If I may, because we're bonding out for the financing of it, we have a certain threshold that we have to abide by, which I believe was approximately 2.7 million, if I recall correctly. Because the bids came in over that amount, we can only go up to what we've authorized for the bond aspect.
So do you expect when it's rebid, it's going to be less?
I would certainly hope so, based on revisions of the scope of work.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments on the resolutions? Sir.
My name is Frank Abella, 21 Oak Grove Lane, Edison. On item R055, a resolution authorizing refund in the amount of $925,609.27 for tax sale certificates. Can somebody please explain what that is?
The BA might be able to do so more eloquently than I can.
Council President, we had the CFO at the last meeting to provide information on the tax sale certificates. I don't believe the CFO is present this evening to provide any additional information.
I think the question, if I'm understanding it correctly, at the end of the year, if there's a lien on the house for not paying taxes, sewer, the property can be put out for bid, essentially. When those taxes or payments that are due become current, then the person that bid out for the house gets refunded on that money, because now that property is not in their name. So when those bills become current, and I know I'm not explaining this eloquently, but when those become
You are.
current, then
I didn't mean to interrupt you. You actually are.
when they become current, then the person that had bid on the property, because it's now no longer has a lien against the property, they get refunded the money that they have put towards.
Okay. When I look at the actual expenditures through February, the number that's there is greater than $1 million. What period did this actual number appear to be? For the fiscal year, for the calendar year, or for what period? Because the numbers don't jive.
It's, if I'm looking at this correctly, it's when they are redeemed. So it's not an actual period, but it's when the tax certificates are redeemed.
Okay. I'll talk about this when we get to the other public comments, but my feeling is the same as Elizabeth Conway's feeling a few meetings back, in which she basically said, she doesn't understand, nor do I, why it is that we don't have members of the various departments present at the council meetings who you can address the questions to directly. Is that a procedure? Is it a policy? Is it a practice?
If it's okay, I have to call a point of order because that question is not resolution-based. If it's okay to readdress that during the oral petitions and remarks, I would appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments on the resolutions only? Mr. Bassoff?
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. With regard to 078, I see that it's almost $200,000 to convert 2 trucks. I'm just curious if anyone explored how much it would have cost just to purchase the appropriate trucks and sell the old ones, or if there are used trucks that would have been usable. It just sounds like a lot of money to retrofit existing trucks.
I did ask the DPW director. He said that new hook trucks are approximately $330,000 that we'd be looking at. This is with the 2, so that's approximately $95,000, $96,000 between these 2. So that would be the price comparison between new and the retrofitting.
Okay, so I'm assuming no one explored just buying new trucks and selling the old ones to make up the difference, but.
I do know that there is interest in purchasing new hook trucks. That has to come with capital improvement, the budget that is figured to be coming up, and there is supply chain issues.
Okay. And on resolution 081, I notice $90,000 for picnic tables. Do we know how many picnic tables that represents? It just sounds like a lot of money for picnic tables.
If I recall correctly, it was 50. Now, I would not expect that this amount to actually go up to the 90,000, which is a not to exceed. The reason why it was put up to that amount, because the original bid was at 25 and this doubled it, they doubled the delivery fee aspect of it, but with it being a bigger bulk purchase, you wouldn't expect that the delivery fee on that to actually double as well. So my expectation is that the amount that would actually be expended would actually be less than that amount.
And finally, there was a resolution that we didn't have an opportunity to comment on, the resolution approving the mayor's nomination of a library board member, and I just.
Council President, the speaker's out of order. It's not a resolution. You can save those comments for general comment.
Okay, well, that was a resolution, but it's a.
It was not a resolution. The speaker's out of order.
Okay, all right.
If it's okay to wait till the
Well,
public comment portion.
We'll talk about that later.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Any other comments on the resolutions only? Can I get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Motion to close the public portion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
With that, we'll move on to the proposed resolutions. Anything to be pulled, starting from my right. Councilman Brescher?
R068, R069, R070, R072, R073, and R074, I believe.
So just to confirm, that would be R068 through R074.
No.
There was ones that he kept that he kept.
6869.
I'll tell you this, I kept R68 to R74. I kept R071 as in the agenda because that was the emergency one that we're getting fined for. So I'm not looking to hold that one up.
I appreciate the clarification. Thank you. Councilman Coyle?
None, sir.
Councilman Patel?
None, sir.
Councilman Patil?
None, sir.
And Councilwoman Ship Freeman?
Yeah, I just want 081, if I don't have to really, if she answers the questions for me right now, I don't really have to take it up about what I asked on Monday about, are they ADA?
Council President, I did follow up with DPW, and some of them will be ADA compliant.
Okay, well, you don't have to pull it then, thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President Harris?
None, sir.
And none on my end. With that, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding R068, R069, R070, R072, R073, and R074?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes,
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Councilman Brescher, would you like to group these resolutions together or go through each individually?
R074 separately.
Okay. So R068, R069, R070, R072, and R073 together. R074 is separate.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to make any comments or questions regarding?
Yes. We had a lot of questions, and the questions revolved around fees. And you provided me some documentation that shows that the cost is somewhere, I guess, around 20%. The engineering cost, let's say, is around 20% or 22% or something. But then we were able to get what some of the other bids came in at. And I just want the public to know this, that we have bid pump stations in the past. And the pump stations in the past, we accepted a bid of $188,000 for engineering of a pump station. The second bidder was like $250. The third bidder was $360. And the fourth bidder was $460. And the guys that were $360 and $460, they were our Mott McDonald that we've dealt with. They were our CME. Okay, they were all on the double the cost to engineer a pump station, which is what made me look at this, because I remember that from 2 years ago. And I do know we've had cost increases. But thank God for Joseph Coyle, who, when I brought this to his attention, he recommended that I go to the town that does it right. So I went to Woodbridge, and I decided to look in Woodbridge at what they pay their engineering firms. They're preferring to pay around 10%, but they don't pay over 15%. And when I'm looking at this, and this is 20% or 22%, and we're talking about investments of like $100 million, I gotta tell you, 5, 7, 10%, I don't know. Can we get a basketball court at Polanski Park for $7 million? So to me, it looks like we're throwing that money away. We should do a bid like we did that year. We didn't do the bids last year, but the year before, when Mayor Lanke was here, we did bid this stuff out. Now we're not bidding it, and we're at the high end. So that's my reason for pulling it, because I just couldn't vote yes on it with the other agenda items that you had.
Thank you. I would respectfully disagree in regards to the 20% aspect, just because some of the other items include construction oversight, the funding assistance, the bidding assistance, and the permitting, just in regards to the discrepancy on the 20% mark.
I verified that in Woodbridge. It's an apple and an apple. So that's okay. You can disagree. You put it on the agenda. Thank you, sir.
All right, with that, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Council President, I will need a separate vote for 69, 70, and 74.
So 6, 9, 70, and 74.
He wants to separate 70 and 74.
Yeah, they can be blocked together, but I would like them to be voted together. But it's up to, either we can go one by one, whatever is pulled in, and we can vote. That would be much quicker. then permutation.
No, we can definitely separate it out. One other item I just want to make note of is that with the, if I'm mistaken to our BA, I believe that because some of these would be through FEMA, that we would actually recoup some of these costs. Am I mistaken on that?
Correct.
Do you know?
70%.
About 70% plus, I believe you had mentioned there might be additional funding opportunities in regards.
Yes, through our insurance carrier, which I'm still confirming exactly what list we have based on some of these items related to Ida, in this case. What was the coverage?
Thank you. So for right now, then, we will do R068, R071, and R073. And then we'll do separately R069, R070, and R074.
Council President, that,
We didn't pull 7-1. We didn't
pull 7.
Sorry, I apologize, just based on Councilman Patil's request just before.
He added 7-1.
No, I'm okay with 71, Councilman, only 69, 70, and 74. The reason I said separate vote because Councilman Brescher has pulled them in a block. I don't want to vote yes or no specific to the block. I have some certain line items I would like to support those. And the other reason was, just the BA was talking that some of those will be covered under FEMA or something. I still don't have the clarity. If I know before I vote, that will be helpful for me to even include that in my yes vote.
Separate vote on
Yes.
those, but we can't do 7-1, that's already been approved.
That's fine. No, I don't have problem.
And I apologize, I misspoke on R071. It's a little bit of a tongue twister with all these. So this would be R068, R072, and R073.
And one vote.
Council President,
in
motion to
one
adopt 68, 72, and 73.
68, 72, 73, yes, for this vote. Can I get a motion to approve 68, 72, and 73?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. Next will be, so the motion carries for 68, 72, and 73. R069, R070, and R074. Councilman Patil.
Council President?
Oh, sorry, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, I'd like to do 7-4 separately, just because I'd like to comment.
Now we're going to do 6.
Or, if I could just comment, then you could do all of them. How's that?
Yes, if that would make it a little simpler.
Okay, that'll make it easier.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the issue that I had with the R074 was, I seen the boat basin. To me, it looks like we need floats there. It doesn't look like it's an extensive type of proposition. My original thought was that if FEMA was going to cover the cost, it wasn't a concern. But then in doing my reading, right, which I looked up some of the FEMA stuff, they don't pay all the engineering fees. They pay somewhere around 5.7 to 10%. And, again, it's a percentage. So FEMA acknowledges that above that, they're not paying, just from what I read. So what I'm looking at is the work that needs to be done at the boat base, in my opinion, as a construction person, is under $10,000. So I'm going to approve $50,000 for engineering and then pay someone, whatever it is, 10 or 20,000. And then FEMA is not going to reimburse us all. At the end of the day, it's going to just cost us more than if we just went and put the floaters back in. So that was my problem. And I know that, yes, the federal government is still us and it's still going into our pocket, except that Utah and Oklahoma are also paying for it. My job here is really to look out for our taxpayers, not the ones in Oklahoma. Thank you.
Council
Thank
President.
you. If it's okay, just because Councilman Patil had asked for the separation.
No, I'm in full support of 69, 70, and 74. The reason, I'll go with 70. It's a good thing to do because it's going to detect the leak break. 70 is something, the water main, that's the issue ongoing in that neighborhood. And 74, I understand, Councilman Brescher's comment here, and to some extent I agree, but this was something damage. I did receive several calls during the IDA time, and I don't know, once we start engineering study, what's going to come out of that. I'm afraid that we take that job in hand and start repairing and we find something else. So I would be more comfortable to go on a professional route and getting this approved. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Coyle?
Hey, Council President, I just, for 7-4, I understand some comments Mr. Brescher has. The timing of this opportunity is really important, and the difference, we will have some paid for. Exactly what amount, we don't have an exact answer, but the timing of getting this ready for the spring and for our neighbors and residents to fish and our children to fish and our grandkids to get involved in that dock is important. It's a priority. It's been sitting for a while, a mess. So I'm happy to just move this forward. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I try to get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve 69, 70, and 74.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brescher.
No.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Ship Freeman.
Yes.
Council President Pointer.
Yes. With that, we'll open it up for oral petitions and remarks. Oh, the motion carries. With that, open it up to oral petitions and remarks. We do not have anyone on the list, so.
Again, I'm Frank J. Abella Jr. I reside at 21 Oak Grove Lane here in town. As many of you probably know, I only appear here when I have something I think it's important to say, or when I have questions that need to be answered, and when I think there may be some observations that I could make that would maybe make things better. I watched Edison TV to find out exactly what's taking place in Edison and how our tax dollars are being spent. First, my observations. There are hardworking, concerned citizens who appear here to voice their concerns to the council with the idea that something's going to be done as a result of what they've petitioned. Here are some examples. I wish Marie were here tonight to hear how much I appreciate her comments, in particular as to what the town is going to do with regard to the deer population. Mrs. Conway, who I referenced before, has asked that the council consider changing its practice or policy to have members of the various town functions present at council meetings so that they could be asked directly the questions that should be posed. Mr. Bassoff, who's going to probably speak in a little while, because he's speaking on behalf of the public advocate, which I certainly endorse as a means to be both efficient in the way we can communicate directly through and to the council and to the administration. We all know that certain items that are asked for don't get attention. I think Mr. Diamond's asked about flooding in his area for probably the last 3, 4, 5 years, and nothing's been done. So, without saying too much more, I think it's time for you to reflect on the policy that you've adopted to make those people present. Now, if you only want to do it once per month, that's fine, but they should be accessible to us in this public forum. That's my position. I have a few other things I'd like to say. Whenever something basically comes up and we get the answer, we're looking into it. That's lip service. What I'd really like you to do is to report at every meeting, as if it were an agenda item, on the very things that were voiced, so that we would know what has happened between meetings based on what it is we say when we're saying we're looking into it. The deer situation is near and dear to my heart because now we're in a new mating season. It's over in a sense. We now have 21 deer, 6 bucks, one of which probably dresses out at anywhere from 185 to 200 pounds and has 14 points. Okay. They've impregnated probably half the deer, half the does. We're going to have a growth of somewhere between 20% and 30% in this town. So that number that you're looking for, that report, showed that we have in this area, based on a count that was made, we have 200 deer per square mile. The average town has 20. That report was done 4 or 5 years ago. I dare say there are many more deer than there were back then. And they're everywhere. In fact, they litter our roads. And so what I'd like to know from the police is how many roadkills do we actually have in Edison? I can point to at least 3 that I've seen in the last 2 months. One by the Playhouse, okay, one right here on Route 27 by Costco, okay. The other night, going towards home on Oak Grove, past St. Joe's, 3 deer ran in front of the car in front of me. He was fortunate enough to put his brakes on, and I was fortunate enough to be at least far enough behind. The car behind me screeched its brakes. When one deer goes across, you can look to at least 2 more. Okay, they're a hazard. Marie, if you were here, you're a crier saying to the town, you've got an issue. And now that you know you have an issue, it's a legal issue. Because if somebody gets hurt or something happens, you can't deny that you know it. And I think the word is center, which is knowledge. Okay, so if you have knowledge of a problem and you do nothing about it, then shame on us. With regard to another issue, this issue is traffic. I'd like to have $1 for every car that makes the pass to the right-hand side past Costco, that goes down to the very end where it says you can't make a right-hand turn and makes a right-hand turn. I have yet to see a policeman give a ticket to any of those people. Now, why is that important? Because when those cars are making right-hand turns, there's not enough time for the cars that have done the right thing to go to the right exit in Costco. So nothing is being done there. Christie Street, you've got the Edison Tower. You've got people come to visit the Edison Tower. It's a beautiful tower. Okay, and a lot of people now are using it as a place as a destination place. I defy anybody at any time to be able to make a left-hand turn from Christie onto Route 27. It is as dangerous a position as any place in this town, and it needs to be looked into. Now, as far as it goes, and I know my time isn't nearly up, we have not had a health officer in this town for 6 months. So when Marie basically said—
Council President, the speaker's
I
time has
know.
elapsed.
Okay. I appreciate the council's respect for my comments. I would like to see something done about it.
Thank you. And just to mention, one of the items that we've tried, or I'm trying to implement, we have a Google Drive-ish type server situation. So I've created an Excel document to try to document. So when you saw me typing, it wasn't to try to be rude, but it's to write down the items that you had mentioned so that we can do these types of follow-ups.
I would like you to report at the next council meeting how much progress we've made on each of those issues.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher?
Yes, the deer issue has come up quite often. Certain people in this audience here I know have followed the deer issue. I followed it myself. It turned into an issue because there were 2 choices. They were going to spay the deer, which was going to cost us millions of dollars, or we were going to have a hunt, a controlled hunt or something. And that didn't really work out well because they were going to an organization then that we were going to pay them, and then they were going to charge their members to come here and hunt. And then what you had is you had the other issues of our neighboring towns. So if you look, I think it might be Scotch Plains or Clark, but there's a golf course that was closed. Their deer population will come over into our area. You can take care of the deer population. Bob Deal was our councilman that was working on it at the time. And at the time, I recommended that Bob, that we did like an open hunt where in that Union County it is, but you could do like an illegal hunt where you put the corn down on the ground. The deers, they come and they eat. They come back every day. And then on a certain day, the hunters go up in a tree with their bows and arrows and they shoot at the deer that come. Doesn't cost the township really anything except for feed. But they chose at the time not to do anything with it. And that was a few years ago. In fact, I don't think there's anybody on this council that was there at the time. Oh, Councilman Patil was there. So I do remember this. The council spent quite a bit of time doing it. But that in itself comes to some of these issues that come up, like when you talk about the traffic and this and that. We try to help the public, but ultimately, we're here to watch over the budget and the money that gets spent and to pass the laws. It's the administration's job to make sure that, our traffic unit is taking care of the issue you brought up about Costco or Christie Street about changing it. This is really like the administration's position. The mayor has open hours, I believe. So, that can be expressed to them. When we express it, we're stepping outside of our bounds as council people. We can't do anything about this. This is really the mayor's prerogative. As far as the flooding, 100% agree. I myself, Councilman Teal, have been asking for reports all last year. We haven't received anything. Nothing's being done. So it's not only frustrating for you, it's frustrating for some of us up here also. Some of the other council people, I don't know, they don't push the issue. Maybe, I don't know what the reason is, but that's okay. And what other issue did you have here? Oh, as far as having people come to the meeting, technically, council president can request this of the administration. It's the council can request any directors to come to a meeting.
Are you asking me, Councilor?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that's
as long as
incorrect.
you're commenting and talking while I'm talking, right? I might as well give you the floor for the moment, but go ahead.
We're going to maintain
I'm not gonna
to
respond.
we're going to maintain, I'm giving flexibility to allow for the council members to speak to the comments that are brought up. That is not a courtesy that I have to give. So if we're going to do that, let's please stick to the comments that the public brings up.
Yes. So what I read was that the council, myself as a council member, can require a report of the administration, any report. That is, as a single councilman that I read. I have also seen that the council, as a group, can request all directors or some directors or whoever to come here. Now, there are disagreements. Like I disagree with our attorney on multiple accounts that we have. I just believe I'm not getting good legal advice, but that's my opinion, right? And that's where we are here. The prior administration, they were a lot more transparent. So this administration, they tried to shut down the public speaking time last year, and now we have this issue. No, I got off subject. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
That's it, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public?
Can I just, if I may?
Council Vice President
I just
Harris?
wanted to, in regards to Councilman Brescher's statement that we can require the department heads to be here, I wanted to check that out.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm really trying to maintain proper order, be respectful to everyone who is here, and treat everyone with fairness and respect. And that was not in regards to a public comment by the gentleman. And I would like us, as I just stated before, to keep it to the comments that the public had made.
Fair enough.
All right, Council President,
Councilwoman
this is
Shaffer,
directly related to what he was talking about, the health officer. Because we didn't get the complete statement from him, can we get it from him like later on? Because I would like to hear what he wants to say about the health officer.
Considering that you have just brought it up in a proper rebuttal sense, I believe
Yes.
that would fall under that definition, if I'm understanding the language correctly.
Yes.
Council President, if you're asking me, can the speaker come up to speak again?
Considering that Councilwoman Freeman has just brought up in regards,
No, that would not be a rebuttal. Rebuttal is as we've defined it, as defined in the code, is that if a member of the public gets up to speak, and then another member of the public wishes to respond to those comments, that would be a proper rebuttal. So this would not be a proper rebuttal.
I appreciate the
Okay,
clarification.
would it be proper if he wrote it down and gave it to me before I leave?
Certainly, you can write it down, you can speak to you
Thank
after the
you.
meeting. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities.
Thank you. Mr. Bassoff?
Thank you, Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. So, given the recent controversy over the Clara Barton Library, it would have been appropriate for the council to have been a lot more transparent with the mayor's nomination to fill a vacancy on the library board. There are many boards, committees, and commissions over which the mayor has sole appointment authority. And under those circumstances, I understand that the name is just presented to the council for informational purposes. But under the Edison Municipal Code, the council has the responsibility of approving mayoral appointments to the library board. That's not supposed to be a rubber stamp. It should be an open and transparent process. And the municipal code actually sets out some parameters for that. You should have had the nomination in writing at least 7 days before you were expected to consider it. There should have been an interview process. There should have been a resume accompanying the nomination. It sounds like perhaps one member of the council spoke informally to the nominee, and everyone else, with one or two exceptions, just fell into line. And especially when you have a board that has such important control over such important municipal property, to have done it in that way just gives the public the impression that this is being rammed through in a non-transparent way. So at least I wish I had had an opportunity to comment on that when you considered the resolution to approve the nomination to the library board. But I would hope that going forward, when the council has a responsibility to exercise its authority to consent to a mayoral appointment, that the process be done in a much more transparent way. For example, one of the things that the council should have done was conferred with the library board. That's in the ordinance. If an appointment is made to a board over which the council has consent authority, you should confer with the affected board. I have the impression that that was not done in this case. So we have a situation where, with perhaps one exception on the council, nobody really knows anything about the person who was nominated. The person might be perfectly acceptable, perfectly appropriate, but as members of the public, and I suspect as members of the council, we have really no idea. That's it.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Patil?
unless attorney wants to, thank you for your email explaining the rights of this council. However, I do disagree on certain things you stated just now, that you believe that no one has done their due diligence checking who this individual is. Believe me, I did his entire background search. I knew what he was doing, what he's doing, where he lived, what his profession is. So I did my due diligence. So it is not something, hey, we got a name and we are approving. That's not true. The second thing is, for every important the committees, we have the council liaison. And we have our council vice president, Margot Harris, council vice president. She is the liaison for the library board. It is practically and technically not a good idea for every single council member to reach out to every single library board member and get their consent. We look upon our fellow council colleague to advise the rest of the council. We look at them. For example, If there is any question on the Board of Ed related stuff, they can question me because I'm the liaison. The same way, we have to respect our council vice president judgment because she spoke to the applicant and she felt comfortable. That's comfort to me. So that's the second point. Third point is we have various types of Falker Acts in state of New Jersey. Edison is a strong mayor, a weak council. I did, consult with the council president as well as the attorney before even looking at the whether I should vote yes or no. And I did get the information that this is more of the consent under the Falker Act that we govern in Edison. This mayor has every single right. He can even veto what this council approves. So whether we approve or not, this would go forward. And I stated that on Monday's council meeting. So is this something we are giving the consent, but if we fail to give the consent, can the person still be put on library board? And answer is yes. So if that's the case, I think it's not a good idea to harm the process. And I fully agree with you in all fairness. We should get more than one application. We should interview people. We should make sure that we have the right process. But unfortunately, you can listen probably 2019 council meetings. I had said very clear that point in time. We are following the same process past 25 plus years. We nominate people. There is no interview. There is nothing. And that time I said we need to have the policies in place. And in fact, I did open up the committee, the ad hoc committee for the better governance. It didn't go that far because we need the people who are interested to be part of that committee, and they can see what things can be done better or what can be done differently than what we are doing or what we have done. And I'll be happy if you want to volunteer for those type of committees so we can set the process and protocols. Thank you, Council President.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman
And I'll
Gore.
be quickly brief. I definitely understand some comments for the library board member. I did some homework. Of course, my first choice out of the box was someone from the Clara Barton section because of the issues we've had. But I'll have to say, some days it's a game of chess. The mayor was aware we wanted some from the Clara Barton section. There's going to be other expirations. I think we've won our battle, a 3-time battle in Clara Barton, and you have a lot to be, proud of. And there'll be an opportunity, and we'll hope that we request that for the next time. And that's certainly going to be an agenda I'm sure many council members will support. So I'm sorry, but again, we're still at it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. And for myself, I reached out to the gentleman. I spoke to the gentleman. That's how the resume was obtained and redistributed out. I did seek counsel from our legal counsel in regards to the items that you had brought up in your email. Try to make sure that we are abiding by everything from the legal aspect. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you. Any other?
Council
Yes.
President?
Councilman Patel, please.
And I did look, thank you for your email, Joe. I did look at it, and I did speak to the gentleman that's applying. I loved his resume, and I think he would be a great candidate for the library board. He's a very tech-savvy, modern, he's a software engineer. He understands what to bring to this library to modernize it. We had a great conversation of what he would like to see in the future library, and I told him what I would like to see in the future of the library, and I think he's a great candidate for it. I'm not sure what more we would want out of a candidate. Thank you.
Council President?
Just out of respect, because Councilman Brescher had mentioned right as Councilman Patel was speaking. Councilman Brescher?
Yes. I just wanted to bring up that our attorney was telling us that this law about the 7 days and this, I believe, doesn't exist because it's a township law, not a state law, I think is what he was saying. And I just wanted to kind of, clarify that. Because I guess this law that we have was written in 1999. I'm not sure who the mayor of Edison was at the time or who the attorney was. But, if we got bad legal advice in 1999, I think I'm going to look and find out who that attorney is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Councilwoman Freeman?
I didn't think it's not that we're rejecting the person that was for the library board. I think it's great because now we got a couple of IT people on there, because I believe Tony DePasquale is a big-time IT person also. I think the more people were complaining, the more the complaint was about transparency, not the actual person at all. They just want the things to be a little more transparent, so it can feel like it's a group thing and not a rubber stamp with all the stuff that went on with the library and all the stuff back and forth. They still are nervous about it because sometimes you cross one bridge and you save the library, and believe me, I've been in this, let's see, like this is the third or fourth attempt to get rid of this, to get rid of the library in Clara Barton. So I know why they're very apprehensive, and I know why they're nervous. Other people might not know, but I know because I've been involved in it. Because when I first got on the library board, they were trying to close the library at that particular time. So people who don't have a history of it don't understand it completely of why they feel the way they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, Mr. Diamond?
Bruce Diamond Calvert. I am curious, if I may ask the attorney a question. Under the Faulkner Act, is there a job description for council people? Is Councilman Brescher's explanation that his responsibility is to be an auditor of what the mayor wants to do rather than serve the residents of the town with all our piddly little problems? Why are you looking with such a strange look on your face, sir?
Well, it's a strange question, but I'll do my best to answer.
Do these people have a job description that outlines what their responsibilities are? It's a pretty simple question.
Yes. Do they have one? Yes, both in the Faulkner Act and in the Township Code, there are the duties and responsibilities of council people.
I give up my time if you would explain those responsibilities, so either I understand what things differently or Councilman Brescher understands things differently.
No, I would say broadly, this body is the legislative arm of the municipality. They approve all agreements, all expenditures, and when it comes to appointments, not completely, but in most circumstances, not all circumstances, they have an advice and consent role as laid out by Councilman Patil, which means that they don't get to pick from a whole host of applicants. They get one from the mayor. They can vote up or they can vote it down. That's the role that they have when it comes to appointments.
But again, what are their responsibility to all of us? I mean, have I been wasting my 5 years coming here complaining about the flooding?
That's
And-
not.
Let me finish. And
Okay.
Councilman AJ has, and the BA always says, I'll get back with you. Well, no one gets back with us for 4 years. We were told when the last engineer, Carl, was here, he had the plans. They were just waiting for, I don't think it was your law firm, it was Northgrave's law firm, had to close on one landowner on Abbott Court. That was done. Now we're starting from scratch apparently because it was only needed one signature and then to go out to bid. We're still in the same spot we were 4 years ago, except we got the signature. What is the forum for citizens to complain about problems in the town? Is your job only to be check and balance to the mayor? Or are they here to serve the residents? It's a very obvious, simple question.
No, well, first of all, they serve all of the residents. They hear public comment, which they do. But is this council as a body, do they have day-to-day responsibility? No, they don't. So what all they can do is they can work with administration to solve the problems that are raised. Is every problem, though, that comes forward at public comment obligated to be addressed by the next meeting? No, that would be an oversimplification of all the problems that face any municipality.
No one's talking, sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
You deserve the same
Thank
courtesy
you,
I expect from you.
So this is the forum, Bruce, to address those issues. But understand that the way in which they get solved requires a coordination between the various branches of government. So I don't think you can look to just the council and say that the council has that
I
responsibility.
was only reacting to Councilman Brescher's seeming attitude that we shouldn't be coming here talking about our problems. So are we hoping that the mayor and everyone else in the executive suite is hearing what our needs are in town, whether it's a stop sign or traffic enforcement?
Oh, they are.
And it goes up the line, and you guys,
Well, I think it's a recognition that the day-to-day responsibility for this municipality, for the township, rests with the administration. They are here through the business administrator to take those concerns and do the best they can with the resources they have to address them. But I think you have to understand the different roles, and I know you understand this, Bruce, the different roles that a council plays versus an administration. So I think that's the.
absolutely, but you remember what started it off was Councilman Brescher's point of what his responsibilities and what he's here for. Maybe he thinks he has more responsibilities than just being check and balance, but that was seemingly his big job.
Well, I'm just giving you the legal answer. Obviously, every council person takes their constituent services role differently. and
Otherwise,
that's
they wouldn't get another vote, huh? So, but we're wasting our efforts in listening, you listening to us and us listening to you, that you're going to help us because you don't have the power to help us. Or maybe you don't want to help us. I'm just trying to understand how it works. Because it seems different after that explanation than what I've experienced in 20 years here. I know my time's up.
I wasn't going to say.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman
Just
McCoy.
to Mr. Diamond, I think Mr. Diamond does a really good job coming here day after day. And some nights I often wonder the time you spend away from your family to be here and complain about issues in front of your home and around the community. And we've been a part of hearing the flood issues for a long time. And some of this is also from the Lanky administration. But, there are times we were told from the engineering department that the flood is a lot deeper than the scope that we can take on for the few homes it's affecting. And then we're also told that we're looking to try to get grant money, for this flooding and try to get different application processes to pay for this. It's a big undertaking to fix flooding, and I think you're aware of that. And we take responsibility to push. But we still need you here because your voice matters. And then if you don't keep, coming here, eventually that flood may still be there. And we need you here. So you can't stop. And I'm sorry it doesn't happen overnight, but I do support that. And I think you've heard from several council people here. We want to make a difference, but sometimes it's the scope of how much work and what it costs for the few homes or all the homes. And that's what we're working on. And I'm sorry.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes, what I said was what the law reads and what I'm supposed to do. Did I go down to the senior center to see non-compliant saddles in for ADA requirements? Not my job, right? But since I'm on that committee, I decided to look at that. The flooding issues. Again, it's not my job, but I think I brought it up, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 times. Councilman Batile has when I didn't bring it up, he brought it up. So it's probably been brought up every meeting. But ultimately, yes, it's frustrating. And that was my point, was that I hear your frustration. I hear the residents' frustration. I myself have the same frustration because we ask these questions and we don't get the answers. And what I'm trying to explain is that we are trying, but ultimately it's the administration's decision. And I will tell you that the administration does watch these videos of our council meetings, so they are aware of your problems. If they choose not to act, I can't tell you why they choose not to act. Sometimes it was a cost issue, where Councilman Coyle brought up the one home, we had a flooding issue. It was like $6 or $7 million to take care of the flooding issue on one home. In fact, I even recommended that we buy the home, turn it into a park, and put a kid's swing set there. But we did nothing with that home at that time. So it is very frustrating. And I find it more frustrating because I feel that I have a seat here and that I should be able to do something. and I'm not able to get that done. So I feel the same frustration that you do. But my quote, where I quoted, that's the quote to say that this is really what we're told we're to do. Every time I overstep my bounds, I get told by different political people or whatever, this is a strong mayor and I'm overstepping my bounds. All that I'm doing is advocating for the public. That's all that my intent was. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. And just for myself, in regards to some of the follow-up items, like, there are times when things overlap. So as an example, if I look at this sheet that I put together, it has the proposals from CME in regards to drainage at Stony Road at Oxford, with the note that says pending 2023. I'll actually give Councilman Brescher credit for that because he requested an update from the engineering as to what was currently active and what was bid out. So there are times when it does serve a dual purpose in regards to our oversight of expenditures and potential expenditures, and obviously servicing the community. Thank you. Any other public comment? Ms. Malone-Barber?
Council President, I apologize. Before we move on to the next speaker, I know it's been brought up several times with regard to Calvert and Abbott. We did get some professional services from CME done last year, and those recommendations are going to be included in the 2023 budget. So we are addressing that, and I just wanted to comment to that.
Thank you. Ms. Malone-Barber?
Hi, Sue Malone Barber, 85 Pleasant Avenue. I just want to reiterate some of the things that were mentioned with regard to the appointment of the library board member. I understand it's the mayor's right to appoint someone, but there is this underlying lack of transparency on how he makes the decision, how many other applicants were there, why was one person chosen over another. And I realize it's his right to choose, and you guys have to, unless there's some big red flag that goes up, there's no reason not to approve the appointment. And I have no issue with that. I understand the process, but there is this underlying lack of transparency. In fact, we know someone who applied, they didn't even get a note that said someone else was chosen. Like, that's just bad form. So sounds like I need to take that up with the mayor. But I do think there should be a whole lot more transparency demanded of these appointments and how the decision is reached. And if you go back to kind of echo what Councilwoman Chip Freeman said about us being paranoid about that library, you better believe it. I fought for this library 10, 12 years ago. And when we went like, well, why was the decision made to go for special needs? And when it was closing last time, there's no transparency. And it's just wrong. And, I just retired, and I would really just like some confidence that people are doing their jobs. And I'm not saying that you guys aren't. I think you've been super supportive. I really appreciate that. And I understand your hands are sometimes tied, but I do think this is really the only public forum we have, right, to talk about these things. And I know we are listened to, certainly with regard to the library and other things that I've been involved with. But I just think it would be great if the council could support transparency with this administration. That is really key, because in the absence of information, people make up their own information. So it makes us nervous. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Council
Any
President,
other-
can I make
yes,
some comment?
Councilman Patil?
Thank you. Trust us. This council do care the library. In fact, even the last time, not everyone was on board, but I spoke to begin with, then Councilman Brescher joined, and the entire council joined. So it's not that we don't take library seriously, but believe me or not, this council has much more power than just an mere appointing person on the library. We'll have the council vice president, she will be giving us the report. But on top of that, this council is also responsible for appropriations, library appropriations. And we did hold, few times we did hold those appropriations when things were not well on the library. So it's not that the control will completely go off. This council will react as needed. And if we foresee that something is not happening right, hey, we can hold the money and we can put this back on track. And this council assures you, and I assure you that nothing will be done wrongly in the library board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President Harris.
Could we get some clarification from Council Attorney about what we can and cannot provide as a body in terms of information in the way of transparency to the public prior to the approval of an appointment?
When it comes to any nomination of the mayor, legally, he's not required to have any process at all. He can have a process if he so chooses. He can request resumes, or he can pick someone that he believes is appropriate. That name is then turned over to the governing body. The governing body then, in its advice and consent role, can ask for additional information, which was done in this case. And I know you said, I want a resume, and that was a completely appropriate thing to do. But until you receive a name from the mayor, really, there's nothing for you there's no role for the council until you receive that name. Once you receive that name, the ball is in your court as to how you wish to move forward with your advice and consent and what you need to feel comfortable with as you move forward.
May I ask you a question? Is it okay that we receive all the resumes of the people who want to be on the library board?
No, the mayor is under no obligation to give you, if he requested resumes, and he had multiple applicants but only gave you one, he'd be under no obligation to give you any other name other than the one he has presented to you for your advice and consent.
So we don't have to get any resumes for any positions?
No, if he gives you a name and now you say, if you as a body say, if you want our advice and consent, we require this from you with regard to this particular applicant, well, then you can set a criteria, which you did by asking for a resume.
Okay, but we don't have to ask for anybody else's. We only can get the one that he wants to give us.
You could ask, but he's under no obligation to give it to you. Yeah.
Okay, and that's for everything, every appointment?
Any appointment where he provides an appointment for your advice and consent. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers?
Good evening. Oh, this is different. Good evening, AJ Benz, Edison, New Jersey. Good evening. Do I have the floor, Mr.
Yes.
President? Thank you. Give me 1 second. Hello, everyone. I would like to address the Edison Nation and the world, whoever's watching. So there was a lot of things has happened as we last spoke on January 25th. With the 29-year-old foreign exchange student was trying to become a New Brunswick high school. Turns out that that individual was in that school 10 years ago, and according from News to New York. Today is Black History Month, so happy Black History Month to my brothers and sisters. Coming from a multi-race and a multi-culture, I have cousins who are Black in my family, so happy Black History Month. Congratulations to the Boy Scouts, the Pack Eagle Scouts, for achieving their awards. I want to inform you that I used to be a Boy Scout here in Edison, including the Rural Rangers Boy Scouts in Dayton, New Jersey. I think it's post 148. I won the draw patch many years ago, and I actually won the patch, and I have to show it to you guys one of these days, but that patch is literally worldwide that I drew, but this was many years ago. So here I'd like to address some alarming concerns here in Middlesex County. if now, I guess we have screeners behind us because the recent incidents are happening in Middlesex County. A Saraville Republican councilwoman was shot and killed. Yeah, shot and killed in her own home. What the hell is going on over here? Joe Coyle, I hope you're okay. I hope you guys are okay. I'm not gonna have these people gonna start coming into these people's homes and you know, just because you don't like that person's point of view doesn't mean you're gonna drive by to your house and just, we need to find that killer. He or she is still out here. I'm asking if you know something, please say it. Please say it, for the love of God. It's not okay. I want to make sure that all my council, including Middlesex County and the state of New Jersey, and all of our council people in our towns and our cities are safe and protected, because I am sick and tired. Because I don't like someone's, just because you don't like someone's point of view doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, my dad's calling me. Just because you don't like somebody's point of view, enough is enough. Don't kill people just because they don't let you don't agree. Like I'm literally still mad. We need to find this person who is responsible for the Republican councilwoman in Saraville. I hope you guys watch the public State of the Union address. You miss a lot of pointers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, America is back. Our infrastructure is back. Our microchips are coming back. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're not going to go back. I will say it. Governor Murphy said it, and our own Mayor Sam Joshi has said it, and the President of the United States of America as well. To all my brothers and sisters, I understand what I heard about Donald Trump in the last 2 weeks and this past Tuesday. He would like to put a bill in place if he becomes President of the United States, he wants to discontinue and get rid of the gender-affirming care. He wants to veto it in a video on Tuesday that if he was reelected, we will not allow to, we're not going to have him trying to kill us, including the LGBT youth community. He's a danger to our community. He's a danger to this nation of the United States, and he had to be held accountable. We will not have him in office for another 4 more years. We, the people, say hell no. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I would like to request the mayor and the chief of police next council meeting before he starts preparing for the State of Union address for this township. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States. And let there be light in the township of Edison. I will maintain my time. Thank you. No rebuttal if necessary.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? Second time for rebuttal? Yes, sir.
I understand the rebuttal is to talk about any other speakers and the comments that they may have made. Is that correct?
That is.
So, I think that Ms. Diamond's comments.
If I can just ask name and address for the.
Oh, yes, it's Frank Abella, 21 Oak Grove Lane, Edison.
Thank you.
Mr. Diamond's comments were very thoughtful, because what is at issue, and I think that Ms. Barber's question points were relevant in one respect too. It's not a transparency issue alone. It's a communications issue. And anybody who's ever studied organizational theory understands that there's a receiver as well as a sender. If you send a message and the receiver is unwilling to accept the message, you don't have a communication. The same is true if you were the opposite. If you wanted to communicate with us, I have a simple solution for you. Get the public advocate that we've been long asking for. If we then have concerns, we express them to the public advocate. The public advocate acts as a person who's our liaison person both to the mayor and to the council. That way, a lot more efficient ways of being able to deal with the problems that we're bringing to you for is something that you can deal with, I think, legally. So Why isn't it that we haven't reflected on the comments that were made a few meetings back about the, my words, need for a public advocate? I think that's going to help the communications. I think it'll help the transparency. And I don't care whether or not it's a library issue, or whether or not it's a deer issue, or whether or not it's a flooding issue. You now have a way to be able to get a sender and a receiver at both levels, the administrative level and here to the council.
Council President?
Yes,
May
Councilwoman
I just
Shafir.
respond to Mr. Abella? Mr. Abella, you might not have heard or seen from previous meetings, but actually Councilman Brescher, Councilman Patil, and I are going to be forming a subcommittee to start, along with some of the residents, to look into do some deep research into a public advocate. We're going to be gathering a lot of information, looking at all kinds of cost-benefit analysis, and so we are in the midst of forming that committee.
If you'd like, I would gladly serve on your committee.
Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
I just want to clarify, though, when we were looking at the public advocate, we were looking really for like our planning and zoning board, not for the other issues that we have in the town. And I guess like the state has like a public advocate where their role is more expanded. But initially, we were just looking for the planning and zoning so that the people, their people's voice and, well, the legal terms that need to be included in those proceedings would be included.
Sorry, at that point. No, I'm sorry. In the proper sense of a rebuttal, it's supposed to be contradicting a different point, and I did let that slide, so going forward, I would be more conforming to that. Any other speakers, second-time speakers? Seeing none, a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patil, second by Councilwoman Schiff-Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting stands adjourned.
John, I got to tell you,